True wealth is not just the money in your account, but the freedom to live your life on your terms. When you control your money, you control your future and the choices you make every single day. Every choice you make with money today shapes the freedom you experience tomorrow. Wealth grows when you focus on value, discipline, and patience rather than luck or shortcuts. The power to create abundance lies within your daily decisions and habits. Most people overlook the simplicity of earning, saving, and investing steadily, yet this is where real freedom begins. Life feels lighter when you take control of your finances and stop letting stress dominate your mind. In this podcast, we break down the simple path to wealth with practical guidance anyone can follow. If you're ready to transform your financial future and gain real freedom, then let's dive in. Chapter 1. Learn that wealth grows from simple, smart choices. Most people dream about wealth, but few understand how it actually begins. Many think it takes luck, high income, or a perfect business idea. But the truth is simpler. Wealth starts with small, smart choices that anyone can make. It starts the moment you decide to take charge of your financial life. You do not need a rich family or a big break. You need awareness and discipline. You need to learn how money behaves. You need to respect every dollar that comes your way and give it a purpose. The path to wealth is not hidden. It is built by habits that you repeat every single day. It is built by the small things that most people ignore. It is built by decisions that may look ordinary, but lead to an extraordinary life. When I was young, I believed wealth came from big actions. I thought you needed to make one massive deal or win a lucky break. Then I discovered that wealth actually grows from small daily disciplines. Every wise decision with money adds up over time. Every foolish one pulls you back. This truth changed my entire philosophy. Wealth is not a mystery, it is a result. It comes from what you do consistently, not what you dream occasionally. It grows quietly, step by step, through choices that look simple but have deep impact. Every time you save, invest, or spend with purpose, you are building your future. Every time you waste or delay, you are slowing it down. The first smart choice is to take full responsibility for your money. Many people blame the economy, their salary, or their circumstances. They say they cannot save because life is expensive. They say they cannot invest because they do not earn enough. But wealth does not begin with excuses. It begins with ownership. When you decide that your financial life is your responsibility, you take the power back. You stop waiting for the government or luck to fix it. You stop blaming and start building. That moment of ownership is the foundation of every wealthy person's story. The next smart choice is to spend less than you earn. This simple rule looks small, but it changes everything. You cannot build wealth if you consume everything you earn. You must create a gap between your income and your expenses. That gap is your freedom fund. That gap is your opportunity to invest. Many people earn well but stay broke because their spending grows with their income. They call it lifestyle creep. You get a raise, you buy a new car, you earn a bonus, you upgrade your house. But those are not smart choices. Wealth is not about how much you earn. It is about how much you keep. When you learn to control your spending, you begin to control your life. The next choice is to save consistently. Saving is not about the amount, it is about the habit. A person who saves $10 every week will end up wealthier than someone who waits for a big amount to start. The habit matters more than the number. Saving builds your discipline muscle. It trains your mind to plan for the future. It gives you confidence that you can handle surprises. You no longer panic when something unexpected happens because you built a safety net. You sleep better at night because you know you have control. Wealth grows in quiet rooms through the habit of saving. After saving comes investing. Many people fear investing because they do not understand it. but investing is just letting your money work for you. When you invest wisely, your money earns money. It grows while you sleep. You do not need to be an expert to begin. You can start with simple options that you understand. The key is to learn the basics and stay consistent. The earlier you start, the more your money grows through time. Compounding is the quiet magic that turns small sums into large fortunes. But you must give it time. The sooner you begin, the stronger it becomes. A smart choice that many people ignore is avoiding debt. Debt can steal your future if you are not careful. Not all debt is bad, but most people use it the wrong way. They borrow to buy things that lose value. They borrow to look rich instead of become rich. They buy now and pay later. They feel the comfort today and carry the burden tomorrow. That is not wealth. That is illusion. A wise person uses debt only when it helps build value. You borrow for an asset that grows, not for a thing that fades. You keep debt small, manageable, and temporary. The goal is not to live in debt, but to live free from it. Another simple but powerful choice is to track where your money goes. Most people have no idea how they spend. They only know that the month ends before the money does. But awareness creates change. When you write down your expenses, you face the truth. You see where waste hides. You see patterns that hold you back. Once you know where your money goes, you can control it. Tracking your money makes you conscious. Conscious people make better choices. The moment you start tracking, you start improving. One of the smartest choices you can make is to keep learning about money. Financial education is not taught in most schools, but it is essential for life. You do not need complex books or technical terms. You need simple understanding. Learn how saving works. Learn how investing works. Learn how to protect and grow what you earn. Read, listen, observe. Ask questions. The more you understand money, the more confident you become. Ignorance costs more than education. Knowledge gives you peace of mind because you know how to make money decisions with clarity. Another wise decision is to avoid comparing your financial life with others. Comparison steals focus. You see someone with a new car and think you need one too. You see someone on vacation and feel behind. But wealth is personal. It grows in your own time and your own way. Stay on your path. Stay focused on your goals. The goal is not to look rich. The goal is to be free. Freedom is quiet. It does not need to show off. It comes when your money works for you instead of against you. A strong choice for wealth is to build patience. Many people quit too soon. They want quick results. They start saving for a few months and expect miracles. But wealth is like a tree. It grows slowly. You water it daily. You care for it. You protect it. One day it starts to grow strong roots. Then it gives shade and fruit. But that takes time. Patience is the bridge between effort and reward. If you stay consistent and patient, the results will come. One important choice is to keep your emotions in control when it comes to money. Many financial mistakes happen because of emotions. People panic when markets fall. They get greedy when markets rise. They buy things to fill emotional gaps. But wealth requires calmness. You must learn to pause before reacting. You must think before spending. You must make financial decisions with logic, not emotion. Emotional control is not about being cold. It is about being wise. It keeps you steady while others make mistakes. A simple but life-changing choice is to stay around people who think wisely about money. Your environment shapes your habits. If you spend time with people who waste money, you will do the same. If you spend time with people who value growth, you will start thinking differently. Surround yourself with those who plan, save, invest, and stay disciplined. Their habits will influence you. Their mindset will inspire you. Wealth grows faster in the company of the wise. Another key choice is to live with gratitude. Gratitude keeps you from feeling poor even when you're starting. It keeps you from chasing things you do not need. It reminds you of what you already have. A grateful person spends wisely because they value what they own. Gratitude keeps your desires in balance. It helps you see money as a tool, not as a master. It helps you build peace while you build wealth. Choose to stay consistent. Consistency is what turns small steps into great results. Many people start strong and fade away. They save for a month, then forget. They track for a week, then stop. But consistency builds momentum. Every small effort repeated daily becomes a system. Systems create success. Once your actions become habits, you no longer struggle to maintain them. You save automatically. You invest automatically. You live below your means naturally. Consistency makes discipline easy. A choice that will change your entire path is to think long-term. Most people live only for today. They want instant pleasure and quick comfort. But long-term thinking builds real wealth. It makes you plan your future. It makes you delay short-term desires for bigger rewards. When you think long-term, you start seeing the bigger picture. You stop wasting money on things that lose meaning. You start investing in things that matter. Long-term thinking keeps you grounded and focused. The next choice is to take small actions daily. Big goals can feel heavy, but small steps are easy. You can start saving a small amount today. You can learn one new thing about money this week. You can cut one useless expense this month. Every small move adds up. Every little win builds momentum. The beauty of small steps is that you can keep doing them. They are not hard to sustain. And when you look back, you realize how far they have taken you. Choose to protect your money. Many people work hard to earn but lose it easily. Protect what you build. Avoid risky deals that sound too good. Avoid people who pressure you to invest in things you do not understand. Avoid spending just to impress. Protecting your money is as important as making it. You worked for it. You gave your time and effort. Guard it with care. The final choice is to believe that you can build wealth no matter where you start. Many people limit themselves with doubt. They say it is too late. They say they have made too many mistakes. But the truth is, wealth does not care about your past. It begins the day you change your decisions. You can start small. You can start today. Every smart choice you make from now on will move you closer. Wealth is not a secret club. It is a system that rewards consistency and discipline. Wealth is not built by luck or magic. It is built by small, smart choices made every single day. Choices that may not look special but lead to freedom and peace. When you understand that, your relationship with money changes. You begin to see every decision as a seed. Some people waste their seeds, others plant them. The ones who plant grow a forest. That forest becomes wealth. And it all starts with one simple smart choice made today. Chapter 2. Understand that money follows value, not time. Many people work all day and still feel stuck. They give their time, their energy and their effort, yet their income barely changes. They wake up early, go to work, come home tired and wonder why money never seems to grow. The reason is simple. Money does not follow time. Money follows value. You can work 10 hours a day and stay poor, or work 4 hours a day and become wealthy. It depends on the value you create, not the time you spend. Most people trade hours for income. The wise trade value for wealth. Once you understand this, your entire life changes. When I was young, I believed that working more hours meant earning more. I saw people who worked day and night, yet they still struggled. Then I met people who worked less but earned more. It made me curious. What did they know that others did not? I learned that value is the key. When your work solves problems, people pay you more. When your work makes life easier for others, money finds you. It does not matter how many hours you work. It matters how much value you bring to those hours. Value comes from skill. The more skill you develop, the more valuable your time becomes. A person with rare skills can do in 1 hour what others cannot do in a week. That hour is worth more. Many people try to get rich by working harder, but they forget to work smarter. Hard work is important, but without skill, it has limits. Skill multiplies your results. The more you learn, the more valuable you become. Every new skill increases your income potential. Every new ability adds a new door to opportunity. You must also understand that value begins in your mind. Your thoughts shape the worth of your actions. If you see yourself as small, your work will stay small. If you see yourself as valuable, you will demand more from yourself. People who value their own work attract higher rewards. They give attention to quality. They give effort to excellence. They care about results. They do not rush through tasks just to finish. They do it to make a difference. That difference creates value. When you focus on value, you stop measuring everything by hours. You start measuring by impact. Ask yourself every day, what value did I create today? That question builds awareness. It changes how you approach your work. Instead of counting hours, you start improving results. You start thinking how to serve better, how to solve better, how to deliver better. When you make this shift, money starts following you instead of you chasing it. Think about this. Two people may have the same job title but earn completely different incomes. One does what is required. The other goes beyond what is required. One works for time. The other works for value. The first waits for instructions. The second finds solutions. The first avoids responsibility. The second takes it. Employers, clients, and customers notice value. They reward those who make things better. They trust people who create progress. That trust becomes wealth. If you are in business, this truth is even more powerful. Business is nothing more than value exchange. You offer a product or service that solves a problem. The more value you add, the more customers you attract. People do not pay for products. They pay for results. They pay for the feeling your service gives them. They pay for the improvement your work brings into their life. If you focus on money, you may get temporary success. If you focus on value, you build lasting wealth. There is a deep satisfaction that comes from creating real value. It makes you proud of your work. It gives meaning to your effort. It brings you joy because you know you made life better for someone else. That joy is worth more than money. And the interesting thing is, when you love adding value, money starts flowing naturally. It becomes the reward, not the goal. You no longer feel trapped by time because your time now carries worth. To create more value, you must always keep growing. Read more. Observe more. Learn from people who are better than you. Watch how they speak, how they plan, how they solve problems. Growth makes you more capable. The more capable you become, the more value you can create. Never think you have learned enough. The day you stop learning, your value starts to fall. Stay curious. Stay hungry to improve. That hunger keeps your value rising. Another truth about value is that it multiplies through service. When you help one person, the impact is small. When you help many, the impact becomes large. The greater the number of people you serve, the greater your wealth potential. A teacher who shares wisdom with hundreds earns more than one who teaches 10. A business that serves millions earns more than one that serves a few. But the secret is not in the numbers alone. It is in the depth of value each person receives. Serve deeply, and growth becomes inevitable. You must also learn to detach value from ego. Some people want recognition more than they want to serve. They want praise more than progress. But wealth grows in quiet work, not in show. Focus on contribution, not attention. The more invisible effort you give, the more visible results you create. People may not see your process, but they will see your outcome. Let your results speak louder than your words. Another mistake people make is thinking that value always comes from big things. That is not true. Small improvements done consistently create immense value over time. A better greeting, a faster response, a cleaner design, a smoother system, all these small things add up. People notice care. They remember quality. They return to consistency. If you do the small things better than others, your value rises naturally. Never underestimate the power of small, consistent actions. Money also follows emotional value. People pay for how you make them feel. A business that treats customers with respect creates emotional value. An employee who brings positivity to the team creates emotional value. A leader who listens and understands creates emotional value. These soft skills are often ignored, yet they build strong financial results. When people feel safe, respected, and appreciated, they trust you. Trust always brings opportunities. Let me tell you something powerful. The world pays for solutions, not complaints. Every time you find a way to solve a problem, you create value. Every time you make something faster, easier or better, you move closer to wealth. Do not wait for someone else to tell you what to fix. Look around you, notice the gaps, notice the needs, then act on them. The person who solves problems becomes indispensable. Indispensable people never struggle for income. There is a certain kind of person who creates value wherever they go. They bring ideas, energy and solutions. They do not say, "That's not my job." They say, "How can I help improve this?" They lift the people around them. They make their workplace better. They bring order to chaos. That kind of person never stays unnoticed. Life rewards people who make things better. That is the rule of value. When you start thinking about value, time begins to feel different. You stop wasting hours on things that do not move you forward. You start using your time like an investor. Every minute should create something meaningful. It should build skill, create results, or strengthen relationships. Idle time becomes rare because you start seeing the connection between your time and your future value. You must also learn to price your value fairly. Some people undervalue themselves because they fear rejection. They think asking for more will push people away. But if you truly deliver value, asking for fair pay is right. Never beg for worth. Earn it, prove it, and then stand by it. The more you believe in your own value, the more others will too. Confidence attracts opportunity. Underpricing yourself makes others doubt your ability. Know your worth, but always keep earning it. A key step in growing your value is learning how to communicate it. You might have great skills, but if people do not understand your value, they will not reward it. Learn to express what you bring to the table clearly. Show results, not promises. Let people see the difference your work makes. Good communication multiplies value because it helps others trust your ability. You also need to protect your value from distraction. Many people waste time on things that do not matter. They scroll through hours of noise. They complain, gossip, and procrastinate. All that energy could build value if used wisely. Focus on what moves you forward. Cut out the noise. Every hour you save from distraction can be turned into growth. Protect your time like gold. It is your greatest tool for building value. Remember that value is not built overnight. It takes seasons of practice, mistakes, and correction. You may fail, but each failure teaches you what not to do next time. Every lesson adds to your wisdom, and wisdom adds to your value. The people who grow richest are those who stay consistent through their failures. They see each setback as an education. They do not stop improving. They turn frustration into mastery. As you continue to create value, your relationship with money changes. You stop chasing it. You start attracting it. People look for you because they trust the quality you bring. You become the person others depend on, and that trust becomes your greatest asset. It cannot be taken easily. It cannot be faked. It is earned through years of consistent value creation. Eventually, you realize that wealth is not about trading time for dollars. It is about trading value for freedom. The more value you create, the more control you have over your life. You choose how to spend your time. You choose whom to work with. You choose the life you want. That is real wealth. It begins not with luck or inheritance, but with a decision. The decision to stop selling time and start building value. The decision to learn, grow, serve, and improve every single day. And once you make that choice, money will follow you, not the other way around. Chapter 3. Let your money work harder than you do. Most people spend their whole lives working for money. They wake up early, spend long hours at work, and return home tired. They dream of rest but cannot afford to stop. Their entire energy is spent earning, yet they never feel free. The truth is simple. If you want to build wealth, your money must start working harder than you do. You cannot depend on effort alone. Your body has limits, but money does not. Your time is fixed, but money can multiply when you put it to work. That is the turning point in the journey to wealth. You must learn to make your money your servant instead of your master. There is nothing wrong with hard work. It builds character and teaches discipline. But working harder is not always the answer. You can work all day and still stay broke if your money does nothing while you rest. You must understand that money can work 24 hours a day without sleep. It can earn interest while you relax. It can grow quietly while you spend time with your family. But this happens only when you direct it with wisdom. Most people work for money all their life because they never learn to let money work for them. They earn, they spend, and then they start again. That cycle keeps them tired and trapped. The first step is to save money with intention. Saving is not about holding on to cash. It is about preparing soldiers for your financial army. Each dollar you save can one day go to work. But you must give it direction. If you let money sit idle, it loses power over time because of inflation. But if you put it in the right place, it grows and multiplies. You do not save to feel safe. You save to prepare your next move. Saving creates options. It gives you the power to invest. Without saving, there is no capital. Without capital, your money cannot go to work. The second step is to invest. Investing is the secret that turns workers into free people. It is the act of sending your money to do a job. When you invest, you are telling your money, go out there and earn for me. You let it grow in stocks, in funds, in businesses, or in assets that appreciate with time. Many people are afraid to invest because they think it is risky. But the truth is, not investing is the biggest risk of all. When you keep money doing nothing, it slowly loses value. Inflation eats its power year after year. Investing, when done wisely, protects and expands your money. It gives you growth while you sleep. You do not need to be rich to start investing. You just need to start small and stay consistent. Every bit counts. Every amount matters. The key is not size. The key is habit. The earlier you start, the stronger your growth becomes. Compounding takes small returns and turns them into great results over time. It is not magic. It is simple mathematics that rewards patience. The longer your money works, the more powerful it becomes. Time is your partner, but your money must be in motion for time to help you. Most people never build wealth because they keep their money trapped. They fear loss more than they desire growth. They hold on to cash because it feels safe. But safety can become a prison. Money sitting still does nothing. It just waits for someone else to use it better. Banks and companies know this truth. They use your idle money to create profit for themselves. They lend it, invest it, and make it grow while giving you little in return. You must learn to do what they do. You must become your own manager of capital. Letting your money work harder than you do also means developing systems that generate income without your daily presence. This is called passive income. It could be dividends from investments, rent from properties, or returns from a business that runs on its own. Passive income is not a dream. It is a result of consistent effort and wise planning. You work hard once to build the system. Then the system works hard for you. You can spend time on things you love while your money keeps earning. That is the true freedom wealth gives. You must learn the difference between active income and passive income. Active income depends on your time. You must show up to get paid. When you stop working, the income stops too. Passive income does not depend on your presence. It keeps flowing even when you rest. The rich build systems. The poor build routines. The middle class often gets stuck between the two. The key is to move from working only for money to creating ways for money to work for you. To make your money work, you must develop the mindset of an investor, not just a spender. When you receive money, ask, how can this grow? Not, what can I buy? That question changes everything. A spender looks for comfort today. An investor looks for freedom tomorrow. A spender feels excitement for a moment. An investor feels peace for a lifetime. When you think like an investor, every dollar becomes a seed that can produce more. You stop wasting money on short-term pleasure and start creating long-term security. To let your money work, you also need patience. Money does not grow overnight. It needs time to mature. Many people lose money because they expect fast results. They jump from one investment to another, chasing quick profits. They sell too soon or panic when prices fall. but money that is allowed to grow quietly becomes strong. You must let it breathe, let it expand, and let it serve its purpose. Impatience kills growth. Discipline builds it. You also need knowledge. You cannot let your money work if you do not know where to send it. Learn about the basics of investing. Understand how markets behave. Learn about different assets like stocks, bonds, and funds. Keep it simple but stay informed. Ignorance is expensive. You do not have to become a financial expert. You just have to be aware. Awareness protects you from scams, greed, and fear. Awareness helps you choose wisely where your money should go. Another important part of making your money work is protecting it. You cannot build wealth if you lose what you earn. Avoid risky promises that sound too good to be true. Avoid people who push you into things you do not understand. Protect your money from bad decisions. Invest only in what makes sense to you. Wealth grows with care, not speed. The goal is not to make fast money. The goal is to build lasting stability. To make your money work, you must also develop self-control. Many people destroy their progress by spending what they should invest. They cannot resist new gadgets, fashion, or luxury. They reward themselves too soon. They forget that every dollar spent today is a worker lost tomorrow. Learn to delay gratification. Learn to find joy in progress, not in possessions. The day you control your desire to impress others, you begin to control your financial destiny. Money that works for you brings peace. It removes the constant fear of running out. It gives you choices. It gives you time. It lets you say yes or no without pressure, but it starts small. It starts with your decision to save and invest. It starts when you treat your money like an employee that must perform. You give it a job. You send it to the right place. You track its results. And when it grows, you reinvest the returns to build a stronger team. Over time, your money will work harder than you ever could. You must also learn to reinvest your earnings. When your money starts producing results, do not rush to spend the gains. Let them work again. Reinvesting accelerates growth. It creates a chain of productivity. The more you reinvest, the faster your wealth expands. Spending too early breaks the chain. Keep your money in motion until it can generate income that covers your needs. Then you can enjoy without fear. Another part of making your money work is automation. You can set automatic transfers to savings or investments. You do not need to depend on willpower alone. Systems create consistency. When saving and investing happen automatically, you remove temptation. You build momentum quietly. That is how the wealthy manage their money. They make good choices automatic. They make discipline easy. Many people say they cannot invest because they do not have extra money. But the truth is, you find extra money when you look closely. Cut unnecessary spending. Cancel what you do not use. Prepare your budget with awareness. Every dollar you save can be turned into an income-producing asset. You do not need a big start. You need a smart start. Every small action compounds over time. The first $100 invested wisely can teach you more than any book. Let your money work by keeping emotions out of decisions. When you panic, you sell low. When you get greedy, you buy high. Emotional money is tired money. Calm money is productive money. Make your decisions based on reason, not feelings. Follow your plan. Stay consistent. Over time, the results will speak for themselves. Wealth grows in calmness. You must also think about purpose. Money that works for you should serve your life, not control it. The goal is not endless accumulation. The goal is freedom. The goal is peace. The goal is choice. When your money earns enough to support your needs, you are free to focus on what truly matters. You can give time to your health, your family, your creativity. That is when life becomes rich in the real sense. Letting your money work harder than you do is not about greed. It is about wisdom. It is about understanding how energy flows. You trade effort for money in the beginning, but you trade money for freedom later. The sooner you start this shift, the sooner you reach independence. Your future self will thank you for every dollar you made work today. The truth is, everyone has the power to make this change. You do not need high income to begin. You just need discipline, patience, and purpose. Every wise financial step you take moves you closer to freedom. Every careless one keeps you trapped in labor. The choice is yours. Either you keep working for money all your life, or you let money start working for you. Once your money starts to work harder than you, life begins to change in ways you never thought possible. Chapter 4. Focus on freedom, not on fancy lifestyles. Many people spend their life chasing a lifestyle that looks impressive. They want the newest car, the biggest house, and the latest gadgets. They work harder to keep up with trends. They compare themselves to others. They think wealth means luxury. But here is the truth. Luxury without freedom is a cage. You may have possessions but still feel trapped. You may have high income but little control over your time. Real wealth is not measured by things. It is measured by freedom. Freedom to choose how you live. Freedom to decide how you spend your days. Freedom to make life your own. When I talk about freedom, I mean financial independence. That is the ability to live without constant worry about money. It is the ability to say no to demands that drain you. It is the ability to choose work that gives you joy rather than just a paycheck. Many people work long hours to fund a lifestyle they believe they want. But they forget to ask if that lifestyle brings them peace. They trade time for things and end up losing both. True wealth comes when you focus on building freedom first, then the lifestyle follows naturally. The trap of chasing fancy lifestyles is powerful. Society constantly sends messages about what success looks like. Advertising tells you that happiness is in the newest product. Social media shows curated lives filled with luxury. You begin to believe that status equals happiness. But the deeper truth is, chasing appearances drains your resources. It keeps you in debt. It keeps you dependent on income. It keeps you working for approval instead of peace. That cycle never stops unless you decide to break it. Breaking the cycle begins with clarity. You must define what freedom means for you. For some, freedom means more time with family. For others, it means traveling without worry. For others, it means having enough savings to walk away from a job they dislike. You must know your own definition. When you have clarity, your choices become simple. You stop buying things to prove something to others. You start buying things that support your freedom. Your focus shifts from impressing people to improving your life. One of the biggest mistakes people make is confusing income with wealth. High income can create a fancy lifestyle but not real freedom. You can earn a lot and still feel trapped if your spending matches or exceeds your income. Wealth comes from having control over your expenses and building assets that work for you. Freedom comes when your assets provide enough income to cover your needs. That is when work becomes optional, not mandatory. That is when you stop trading time for money. Living for freedom means making intentional choices with money. It means resisting the urge to upgrade your lifestyle every time your income grows. It means delaying gratification to build something greater. People who focus on freedom make choices differently. They save instead of spending impulsively. They invest instead of buying status. They value independence over appearances. Their life is quieter, but it is stronger. Their peace grows while others chase noise. Another important step is to reduce unnecessary expenses. Most lifestyles are fueled by habits, not needs. We spend on things we barely use because we have grown used to them. We buy subscriptions we forget about. We upgrade for the sake of trends. These small expenses add up and steal freedom. When you reduce unnecessary spending, you gain control. You free up resources for saving and investing. You give yourself more options for the future. Freedom also grows when you focus on building multiple streams of income. Relying on one source of income is risky. If that income stops, so does your lifestyle. Diversifying income sources creates security. It allows you to keep living even if one source stops. It also opens new opportunities. When you have more than one stream of income, you have more choices. You are not bound to a single employer or a single paycheck. That is true freedom in action. A major part of focusing on freedom is learning to say no. Saying no to unnecessary spending. Saying no to social pressure. saying no to short-term pleasures that hurt your long-term goals. Saying no is not deprivation. It is discipline. It is choosing to protect your future. The people who reach financial freedom have mastered the art of saying no to what does not matter and yes to what truly matters. That habit changes life quietly but powerfully. You must also guard your mindset. Living for freedom requires resisting comparisons. Others may flaunt luxury. You may feel the urge to keep up. But chasing someone else's vision steals your own peace. Focus on your own path. Focus on your goals. Freedom grows when you stop measuring success by appearances and start measuring it by control. When your happiness comes from choices, not possessions, you begin to live differently. Another truth is that freedom requires preparation. You cannot just decide to be free without building a foundation. That foundation is built with saving, investing, and smart planning. You create a financial structure that supports you when you choose to step away from work. You build assets that replace your active income. You prepare for unexpected challenges. Freedom is not an accident. It is a result of careful preparation. Part of preparation is understanding your values. What do you truly want from life? Many people spend money to fit a certain image, but forget what matters to them most. If you want freedom, ask yourself what freedom looks like in your daily life. Is it time to travel? Is it time to care for family? Is it time to create something meaningful? Your spending should reflect your values. That way, your lifestyle supports your freedom instead of stealing it. Living for freedom also means accepting that you do not need everything society says you should. You can live well with less. You can be rich in time even without luxury. A simple life lived with purpose can be more fulfilling than a complex life filled with debt. Many people find that when they strip away excess, they discover more peace. They discover a deeper satisfaction that no luxury can give. To focus on freedom, you must also build a mindset of patience. Freedom is not built overnight. It comes from consistent decisions over time. You must be willing to delay instant gratification. You must be willing to save instead of spend. You must be willing to invest instead of consuming. That kind of discipline builds not just wealth but peace of mind. It makes the pursuit of freedom steady and lasting. Another important part is to create financial boundaries. Decide what percentage of your income goes to living and what percentage goes to freedom building. Treat that boundary as sacred. Do not break it for unnecessary expenses. Protect it like it is your most valuable resource. Those boundaries create structure. They create discipline. They make your path toward freedom predictable and steady. Focus on freedom also means living below your means. It is not about depriving yourself. It is about creating choices. When your expenses are lower than your income, you have room to save, invest, and grow. You create space for opportunities. You give yourself flexibility to handle life's changes without fear. Living below your means is not a sacrifice. It is an investment in your future freedom. One of the greatest gifts freedom gives is peace. When your money works for you, when your spending reflects your values, when your life is built on control instead of appearances, you feel peace every day. You stop living in a constant chase. You stop feeling pressure to prove something to others. You stop worrying about tomorrow. You live with confidence because you have built a life that works for you. Freedom also gives you the ability to choose work that matters. When you are financially free, work is no longer a necessity. It becomes a choice. You choose work that fulfills you. You choose projects that excite you. You choose a pace that suits your life. That is a power that few understand. Most people never reach this level because they chase lifestyle instead of freedom. When you focus on freedom first, lifestyle becomes a byproduct, not the goal. You stop measuring success by possessions and measure it by peace and control. You start to see money as a tool, not a trophy. You start to see wealth as a way to live fully instead of impress others. That shift changes your decisions. It changes your spending. It changes your life. The truth is, freedom is the real reward of building wealth. Fancy cars and big houses are temporary. Freedom lasts. It gives you control over your time, your choices, and your life. Every smart financial decision you make must be a step toward freedom. Every dollar you save, every investment you make, every expense you avoid must move you closer to control. That is the path to lasting wealth. When you choose freedom over fancy lifestyles, you make a choice for peace, for control, and for life on your terms. That choice is more powerful than any amount of money. And once you make it, your financial journey changes forever. Chapter 5. Understand that time is your greatest investing partner. Many people think investing is only about choosing the right stocks or finding the perfect opportunity. They focus on what to buy instead of when to start. They wait for the right moment and delay action. That waiting costs them more than they realize. Time is the most powerful partner in investing. It allows growth to compound quietly and steadily. The earlier you begin, the more time your money has to grow. Time is not your enemy. It is your greatest advantage when building wealth. The longer your money works, the greater your freedom becomes. When I speak about time, I speak about years and decades, not days or weeks. Wealth is not built in a year. It is built over seasons of steady action. The person who invests early benefits from decades of growth. They do not need extraordinary returns. They only need consistency and patience. Time allows even small investments to grow into significant amounts. The power of compounding cannot be rushed. It grows quietly, steadily, and powerfully when you give it years to work. One of the biggest mistakes people make is underestimating time. They think they need large amounts of money to start. They believe investing is for the wealthy or for those with perfect timing. But the truth is, time matters more than the size of the investment. A small amount invested consistently over decades becomes far greater than a large amount invested for a short period. Time rewards patience. It magnifies discipline. It turns steady action into life-changing results. When you start early, time becomes your ally. It allows you to recover from mistakes. It gives you room to learn. Every year you wait to invest costs you valuable growth. People who start late must save more and take greater risks to reach the same results as those who start early. Time gives the early starter a powerful advantage. The earlier you begin, the easier the path becomes. This is why time is not just a factor. It is the foundation of successful investing. To understand the value of time, think of investing like planting a tree. The sooner you plant it, the sooner it grows. The tree does not need perfect conditions to grow. It needs time and consistent care. The same is true for investing. Your money grows when you give it years to work. Consistency is more important than timing. Regular contributions, no matter how small, grow into something remarkable with enough time. Time also protects you from short-term volatility. Markets go up and down. There will always be fluctuations. Those who invest without enough time often panic during downturns. They sell at a loss. But time allows you to ride out these changes. If you hold your investments for years, market fluctuations matter less. Time smooths volatility. Time gives growth a chance to recover and expand. The longer you invest, the more powerful this protection becomes. A key part of using time wisely is starting now. Many people delay investing because they feel they are not ready. They want to learn more, save more, or wait for a better moment. But there is no perfect moment. The best time to start is today. Even a small step taken today is better than a perfect plan delayed indefinitely. Time works for those who begin. It does not wait for those who hesitate. Every moment you delay, you lose potential growth. Another important truth is that time magnifies discipline. Small, consistent actions build more wealth over time than occasional large efforts. Regular investing, even in small amounts, compounds in powerful ways. The discipline of contributing steadily creates habits that grow stronger with time. Time rewards consistency far more than occasional bursts of activity. This is why the mindset of starting now and staying consistent is essential. Time also allows knowledge to compound. The earlier you start investing, the more experience you gain. You learn how to manage risk, how to control emotions, and how to make better decisions. This knowledge builds confidence and improves results. Time is not only an ally for your money, but for your growth as an investor. Experience gained over years is invaluable. It creates a foundation that no short-term gain can replace. When you invest with time as your partner, you think differently. You stop chasing quick gains. You stop reacting to every market change. You begin to focus on steady growth. Time teaches patience. It teaches perspective. It teaches that wealth grows quietly and steadily, not in sudden bursts. This perspective changes how you approach money. It turns investing into a long-term plan instead of a short-term game. A major benefit of having time is the ability to take advantage of compounding returns. Compounding is the process where your investment earnings start earning themselves. This creates exponential growth. The earlier you start, the longer compounding works for you. This is why starting early is so important. Every day counts. Every year matters. Time is the engine that drives compounding, and compounding is the engine that builds wealth. Time also allows you to take calculated risks. When you have years ahead of you, you can invest in opportunities that may take time to develop. You can tolerate short-term losses for long-term gains. Time gives you room to recover. It makes investing less stressful because you know you have years ahead to reach your goals. Without time, investing feels like gambling. With time, investing becomes a strategy. Understanding time also changes how you think about retirement. Retirement is not a single day in the future. It is the result of years of consistent planning. Every year you start investing adds to the strength of your future. The earlier you begin, the fewer sacrifices you need to make later. Time allows smaller amounts to grow into enough for comfort. Delaying means more work, more stress, and more pressure in the future. Another truth is that time builds confidence. When you see your investments grow over years, you trust the process. You stop reacting emotionally to daily changes. You begin to understand that slow growth is still growth. Time turns doubt into certainty. It turns hesitation into action. That confidence fuels your ability to stay the course through ups and downs. Time also changes your perspective on risk. When you invest with a long horizon, risk becomes manageable. You know there will be downturns, but you also know they pass. Time smooths out volatility. It allows recovery. Short-term risk disappears in the long-term view. This is why patient investors often achieve better results than those who chase quick wins. Time rewards steady commitment. A powerful way to use time is to focus on low-cost, consistent investments. This allows your money to compound without unnecessary fees eating away your returns. Over time, fees can significantly reduce growth. Choosing simple, low-cost investments and staying consistent allows time to do its work without interference. The less you interfere with your investment plan, the more time can work in your favor. Time also gives you perspective on life and money. It teaches you to value what matters most. When you invest over years, you see patterns. You see the benefit of patience. You see how discipline turns into freedom. This perspective changes your relationship with money. You start thinking about legacy rather than instant gratification. You start thinking about building something that lasts. When you understand that time is your greatest investing partner, you stop rushing. You stop chasing every new trend. You start focusing on steady growth. You start making decisions with the long view in mind. You invest for decades, not days. You understand that the wealth you build is not measured by sudden gains, but by consistent action over years. Time is not just a part of investing. Time is the foundation of wealth. Every day you delay, you reduce your advantage. Every year you invest, you increase your power. The earlier you start, the easier your path becomes. The more consistent you are, the greater your reward. Time is your silent partner. Treat it as your greatest asset. When you do, your money does not just grow. It grows stronger, steadier, and more powerful than you ever imagined. Chapter 6. Avoid debt because it steals your future wealth. Debt is one of the greatest obstacles to building lasting wealth. Many people do not see it clearly because it is common. They believe debt is normal, even necessary. They take on loans to buy cars, houses, or gadgets. They swipe cards without thinking about the future cost. They believe they can handle it later. But the truth is simple. Debt steals your freedom. Debt takes away the resources you could use to build your future. It makes you work for interest instead of for yourself. The sooner you understand this, the sooner you gain control of your life. Debt is not just a financial problem, it is a mindset problem. When you borrow to spend on what you want today, you place your future in someone else's hands. You trade future earnings for present pleasure. This trade may feel easy at the moment, but it carries a cost. Interest adds up quietly. Payments drain your income. Debt grows when you delay dealing with it. Over time, it consumes your ability to save, invest, and build freedom. Avoiding debt means protecting your future. It means choosing control over convenience. Many people confuse debt with opportunity. They hear about good debt and bad debt. They believe borrowing for education, investment, or a home is smart. But any debt comes with risk. Even if the purchase seems justified, the repayment becomes a chain that limits your options. You must pay before you can save. You must earn before you can invest. Every payment to debt is money that does not go toward your future freedom. The path to wealth begins with keeping your future clear of debt. Debt works against compounding. When you invest, compounding grows your money over time. When you carry debt, interest compounds against you. Instead of growing, your wealth shrinks. Debt creates a cycle where you work harder just to cover the cost of what you borrowed. This slows your ability to invest for the future. It slows your progress toward freedom. If you want your money to work for you, you must remove the burden of debt first. The most powerful step you can take is to stop borrowing for lifestyle. Many people borrow to buy things they cannot afford. They justify it by thinking they will pay it off later. But later rarely comes without stress. Interest payments grow. Debt limits your choices. It forces you to work longer before you can enjoy life. Avoiding lifestyle debt is one of the simplest but most important steps toward building wealth. Another challenge with debt is the emotional toll. Debt creates stress. It creates worry. It makes you think about money constantly. You lose sleep. You lose peace. Debt changes how you live today. You spend less time enjoying life because you are focused on paying bills. It changes how you see tomorrow because your future feels tied to repayment. True wealth comes when your future is free from those chains. Avoiding debt means living below your mean. It means spending less than you earn. It means building habits that protect you from borrowing for unnecessary things. It means being intentional with your choices. You must decide what matters most to you and align your spending with your goals. Every time you choose to live within your means, you take a step toward financial freedom. Every time you avoid unnecessary debt, you protect your ability to invest in your future. Paying off debt is not easy. It requires discipline. It requires sacrifice. It requires a clear plan. Many people avoid this reality because they fear the struggle. But the struggle of paying off debt is nothing compared to the struggle of living under it. Every payment you make brings you closer to freedom. Every debt you eliminate frees resources for saving and investing. The discipline you build by paying off debt becomes a habit that benefits every part of your life. Debt also affects your mindset. When you carry debt, you often feel less confident about your future. You may avoid opportunities because you fear taking on more risk. You may postpone dreams because your budget is tied to repayment. Debt limits thinking. It creates a sense of scarcity. Avoiding debt changes your mindset. It allows you to think clearly. It allows you to plan boldly. It allows you to see opportunities without the shadow of repayment. One of the hardest habits to break is the habit of convenience. Debt feels easy at first. You get what you want now without paying for it immediately. But this convenience comes with a hidden cost. You exchange future freedom for present comfort. Over time, that cost becomes greater than the benefit. Avoiding debt means choosing delayed gratification for a stronger future. It means choosing control over comfort. It means choosing wealth over temporary pleasure. Debt often grows because people do not track their spending. They lose control because they ignore where their money goes. Small amounts borrowed or carried over month after month add up. These small debts compound over time until they become a heavy burden. Avoiding debt means knowing your finances clearly. It means tracking income and expenses. It means having a plan for every dollar. Awareness keeps you from slipping into debt without noticing. Another truth is that debt affects your opportunities. When you owe money, your choices narrow. You cannot invest as freely. You cannot take risks. You cannot act on new opportunities without concern for repayment. Debt limits your ability to build wealth. The person without debt can direct their resources wherever they choose. They can invest in growth, take calculated risks, and move quickly when opportunities appear. That is why avoiding debt is not just about today. It is about opening doors for tomorrow. Avoiding debt also requires resisting pressure. Society encourages borrowing. Advertisements tell you that you need more to be happy. Friends and family may encourage spending beyond your means. The culture around you can make debt feel normal. You must resist that pressure. You must decide for yourself. You must value your future more than approval or short-term satisfaction. Every time you say no to unnecessary debt, you strengthen your path to freedom. When you avoid debt, you protect your peace of mind. You stop living with the constant worry of repayment. You stop feeling the weight of monthly obligations. You create breathing room in your life. You allow your energy to focus on growth rather than survival. Peace of mind is one of the most valuable forms of wealth. Debt steals it slowly and quietly. Avoiding debt preserves it. Debt also changes your future choices. When you owe money, you plan around payments. You limit your ability to pursue dreams. You compromise your options. Avoiding debt means you plan from a place of freedom. You decide your future instead of being forced into it. You have the ability to take opportunities without fear. That is the difference between living in debt and living in freedom. Another important truth is that avoiding debt builds discipline. Discipline is the foundation of wealth. Paying cash instead of borrowing teaches self-control. It teaches you to prioritize needs over wants. It builds habits that benefit every part of your life. Discipline in avoiding debt becomes discipline in saving, investing, and living with purpose. That discipline turns small amounts of money into lasting wealth. When you avoid debt, you also protect your income. Debt requires payments that take priority over savings or investing. That means your income is eaten up before it can work for you. Avoiding debt keeps your income available for growth. You use your money to create more wealth instead of paying interest. That is how freedom begins. That is how your money starts working for you. The reality is that debt is a burden you carry into the future. Every dollar borrowed costs more in interest and lost opportunity. Debt steals your ability to build freedom. It steals your peace. It steals your choices. Avoiding debt is not about deprivation. It is about protecting your ability to create wealth. It is about keeping your future clear so you can build without limits. If you want to build wealth, you must make avoiding debt a priority. It requires discipline, planning, and courage. You must say no to borrowing for lifestyle and unnecessary things. You must take control of your finances. You must live with awareness. The path to financial freedom is not built on borrowed time or borrowed money. It is built on a foundation of control, discipline, and a clear choice to protect your future. Chapter 7. Keep investing simple and stay the course always. One of the most important lessons I have learned about building wealth is that simplicity wins. Many people overcomplicate investing. They look for shortcuts. They chase the next big opportunity. They listen to every new tip or trend. They change strategies often, but complexity often leads to confusion and mistakes. Simple investing, done consistently over time, delivers the most reliable results. The more complicated your approach, the greater the risk of losing focus. Simplicity is the foundation of long-term success. Investing does not need to be complicated. You do not need to predict every market move or master every financial strategy. You need a clear plan, a plan that you understand, a plan you can follow without constant second-guessing. Simple investing means focusing on steady growth. It means choosing investments that are easy to manage. It means keeping your strategy consistent through changes in the market. The best investors know that time and consistency matter far more than complexity. The temptation to overcomplicate comes from a desire to control outcomes. People want certainty in a world full of uncertainty. They believe more information and more strategies will protect them. But too much complexity leads to doubt and hesitation. It makes you more likely to react emotionally instead of staying steady. Simplicity allows you to focus. It removes distraction. It makes investing a clear process rather than a stressful puzzle. A simple investment plan also helps you avoid emotional mistakes. Markets move up and down. People panic when prices drop. They chase when prices rise. Complexity makes these reactions worse because it gives more reasons to change course. A simple strategy gives you clarity when the market is loud. It keeps you focused on your long-term goals. It removes noise and keeps your decisions steady and confident. That is why staying simple is powerful. Simplicity also saves time and energy. When you have a clear, simple plan, you spend less time worrying. You spend less energy analyzing every market change. You invest without overthinking. This frees your mind to focus on other important things in life. Investing should be a tool to support your life, not a source of constant stress. A simple plan creates peace and consistency. It makes investing a steady journey rather than a constant chase. Staying the course is as important as keeping it simple. Many investors change their approach when markets shift. They stop investing when the market falls. They chase trends when the market rises. This stops compounding from working in their favor. Staying the course means sticking to your plan through ups and downs. It means trusting the process. It means believing that time will reward patience. The discipline to stay consistent builds wealth quietly but powerfully. Consistency is the heartbeat of simple investing. You invest regularly without trying to time the market. You contribute steadily regardless of short-term changes. This consistency builds momentum. It smooths market fluctuations. It allows compounding to work without interruption. Staying the course is not about ignoring market changes. It is about recognizing that time matters more than timing. Wealth grows when you give your money years to work, not when you chase every short-term movement. A major part of keeping investing simple is choosing investments you understand. Complexity often comes from trying to master investments that are unclear or unpredictable. You should focus on options that are straightforward and proven. This reduces stress and keeps your strategy consistent. When you understand your investments, you can make decisions confidently. You avoid reacting emotionally to every market shift. Simplicity gives you clarity. Clarity gives you control. Staying the course also requires patience. Many people want quick results. They change their approach too soon because they expect fast returns. Investing is not a sprint. It is a marathon. Results grow over years, not days. Patience allows your investments to mature. It allows compounding to multiply growth. Without patience, you risk interrupting the process and losing the advantage of time. Simplicity and consistency go hand in hand. A clear plan followed steadily is more powerful than complex strategies changed often. It removes doubt. It builds confidence. It allows you to focus on what matters most: growth over time. A simple approach reduces stress and keeps your goals in sight. This is why simple investing, done consistently, is one of the most effective paths to wealth. One of the simplest approaches is regular investing in low-cost options. This reduces fees and allows more of your money to grow. High fees reduce returns. Complexity often increases costs. Simple investing keeps costs low and efficiency high. Over time, small differences in fees compound into significant changes in wealth. Staying simple protects more of your growth for the future. A simple plan also makes it easier to adapt. Life changes. Markets change. Your personal situation changes. But a simple strategy allows you to adjust without losing direction. You can make changes with clarity and without confusion. You keep your focus on your long-term goal. Complexity makes adaptation harder because it requires constant re-evaluation. Simplicity gives you flexibility without distraction. Another truth is that complexity often hides risk. The more complicated the strategy, the harder it is to see where risk lies. Simple investing exposes risk clearly. You understand what you own. You understand what you are paying for. You understand the potential outcomes. This clarity builds confidence and allows you to stay committed to your plan, even in uncertain times. Staying the course requires trust in your own plan. It means resisting the urge to follow every new idea. It means trusting the principles that brought you to investing in the first place. Markets will always change. Some years will be good. Others will be hard. But a steady, simple approach will carry you forward. Trust comes from knowing you have a plan designed to work over the long term. Simplicity also protects your emotional energy. Investing should not be exhausting. Complexity demands constant attention and creates doubt. A simple plan allows you to step back and trust your process. This reduces stress. It makes investing a part of life rather than a source of worry. When you keep investing simple, you protect your peace while building wealth. Consistency builds habits. Habits create results. When you stay the course, you create a rhythm of investing. That rhythm removes uncertainty. It builds confidence. It allows compounding to work without interruption. Over time, consistency produces wealth quietly and steadily. It does not require constant attention or dramatic changes. It requires persistence and simplicity. Another important element is avoiding reaction to every market shift. Complexity invites reaction. Simplicity invites steadiness. You must understand that short-term movements are normal. They do not define your long-term results. Staying the course means not letting fear or excitement dictate your actions. It means keeping your focus on your goals instead of market noise. Simplicity also creates clarity in decision-making. When your investing strategy is clear, decisions become easier. You do not second-guess yourself at every change. You know your plan. You follow your process. This clarity removes hesitation and doubt. It makes investing a confident act rather than a stressful guess. Confidence is one of the most important traits of a successful investor. Staying the course means understanding that building wealth is a process. It is not about finding quick wins. It is about steady growth over years. Every consistent investment builds on the last. Every simple decision compounds with time. The results are not immediate, but they are powerful. Patience and simplicity together produce steady wealth that lasts a lifetime. When you keep investing simple and stay the course, you give yourself peace of mind. You remove unnecessary complexity. You avoid emotional mistakes. You focus on what matters most. You allow time to work in your favor. This combination creates strength in your investing. It turns money into a steady force that builds freedom over the years. The most important lesson is this: investing does not need to be complicated. It only needs to be consistent. Keep it simple. Stick to your plan. Trust time. That approach will serve you better than chasing every new idea. Simplicity creates clarity. Consistency creates growth. Together they build wealth quietly, steadily, and powerfully. Chapter 8. Own low-cost index funds and forget market noise. One of the simplest and most powerful choices you can make as an investor is to own low-cost index funds. Many people think investing means finding the next stock that will skyrocket. They believe success comes from timing the market or picking the perfect investment. But most investors fail at this. The truth is, the market rewards patience and broad exposure over guesswork. Index funds provide that exposure without the stress of chasing trends. They are simple. They are low cost. They are powerful tools that allow your money to grow steadily over time. Low-cost index funds are not about getting rich quickly. They are about consistent growth over years. They follow the overall performance of the market rather than betting on individual companies. This spreads your risk. It gives you a stake in the entire economy. You do not need to predict winners or time changes. You simply own a piece of the broader market and let it grow. This simplicity reduces stress and keeps your strategy steady. Owning index funds allows you to focus on the long term instead of reacting to every market movement. The cost of investing matters more than many people realize. High fees eat away at returns quietly over time. Even a small difference in fees compounds into a large difference in results. Low-cost index funds keep fees low and returns high. They allow your investments to work for you instead of paying unnecessary costs. The fewer fees you pay, the more your money compounds. Over decades, this difference can mean hundreds of thousands of dollars in additional wealth. That is why cost matters in investing. Market noise is another challenge every investor faces. News reports highlight daily gains or losses. Experts predict the next move. Social media fills your mind with opinions. This noise creates doubt. It tempts you to change your plan. It makes investing feel uncertain and stressful. But market noise is just noise. It does not affect your long-term outcome if you own a broad, low-cost index fund. When you ignore the noise, you protect your discipline. You keep your focus on steady growth instead of chasing short-term trends. One of the greatest benefits of owning index funds is peace of mind. You do not need to spend hours researching individual stocks. You do not need to react to daily price changes. You invest and let the market do the work for you. This peace comes from simplicity. You know your plan. You know your funds. You know your goal. This clarity removes the fear of missing out or making the wrong move. It allows investing to be part of life, not a source of constant stress. Many investors make the mistake of thinking they need to control every part of their portfolio. They switch investments based on news or predictions. They try to time the market. They move in and out of positions. This constant activity increases costs and risk. It often reduces returns. Owning low-cost index funds allows you to stay consistent. You make fewer decisions, pay lower fees, and focus on the long-term results rather than short-term noise. Simplicity protects your future wealth. Another truth is that low-cost index funds give you diversification. Diversification is one of the most important principles of investing. It reduces risk by spreading your investment across many companies and sectors. Index funds give you that exposure automatically. You do not need to choose each stock. You own a piece of the market. This reduces risk without requiring constant oversight. Diversification through index funds allows you to sleep peacefully even in volatile markets. Owning index funds also fits the discipline of staying the course. Markets will rise and fall. They will have periods of growth and decline. Many investors react to these changes emotionally. They sell when prices drop and buy when prices rise. This behavior often hurts long-term growth. Low-cost index funds allow you to ignore those changes. You continue investing consistently. You let compounding and time work in your favor. This steady approach delivers stronger results over decades. The beauty of index funds is that they require little maintenance. You do not need to monitor every movement. You do not need to study complex charts. You set your investment, keep costs low, and remain consistent. This makes index investing one of the simplest and most effective paths to wealth. The less you interfere with the process, the more time works for you. This is why simplicity in investing is so powerful. Low-cost index funds also reduce emotional investing mistakes. When you own individual stocks, you may react emotionally to news or price changes. That leads to buying high and selling low. Index funds smooth those emotions because they represent the whole market. They make investing less about guessing and more about consistent ownership. You focus on your plan instead of daily ups and downs. This emotional discipline strengthens your ability to build wealth over time. Another advantage is cost efficiency. Many actively managed funds charge high fees and underperform. Over time, these fees erode returns significantly. Low-cost index funds remove that problem. They keep your costs predictable and low. That means more of your money stays in your investment to grow. This efficiency is a major reason index funds outperform most active strategies over time. Index funds also make your investing more transparent. You know exactly what you own. You know how it is performing compared to the market. This transparency removes uncertainty. You focus on the bigger picture instead of short-term noise. Transparency builds confidence. It makes it easier to follow your plan and stay disciplined. Confidence in your plan is one of the most important traits of a successful investor. A key part of owning index funds is ignoring predictions. Financial news is full of forecasts. Analysts make predictions about markets, but no one can predict the future accurately. The best way to invest is not to guess, but to own a broad portion of the market and stay consistent. Predictions may change daily, but your long-term plan should remain steady. Staying focused on your plan rather than predictions builds wealth steadily. One of the most powerful habits you can develop is to set your investments and forget the noise. Index funds make this possible. You choose your allocation. You automate your contributions. You avoid reacting to short-term movements. This removes stress. It creates discipline. It allows your investments to grow quietly over time. Peace comes from simplicity, consistency, and ignoring noise. Owning index funds also gives you the freedom to focus on life instead of markets. You do not need to spend hours analyzing stocks. You do not need to worry about timing every move. You can focus on your work, your family, your passions. Investing becomes a quiet, steady process that supports your life instead of controlling it. That is true freedom in investing. Another truth is that the market has historically grown over time. While there are fluctuations, the general trend over decades is upward. Owning low-cost index funds gives you a share in that growth. You do not need to guess which companies will succeed. You own the whole market. Over time, that has proven to be one of the most reliable ways to build wealth. Simplicity in investing also allows you to protect your peace of mind. When you know your strategy and trust it, you avoid stress. You focus on consistent action rather than daily results. That is how you build wealth without fear. Low-cost index funds give you that clarity and peace. They allow you to stay the course without second-guessing yourself. The final truth is that low-cost index funds work best when paired with patience. Time magnifies results. Consistent investing allows compounding to work. Staying the course keeps you on track. Ignoring market noise protects your plan. Together, these habits build wealth quietly, steadily, and powerfully. Owning low-cost index funds is not the most exciting path, but it is one of the most reliable and effective paths to lasting financial freedom. Chapter 9. Stay calm when markets rise and fall wildly. One of the hardest lessons in investing is learning to stay calm when the market changes. Markets will rise. Markets will fall. They will have periods of growth and periods of decline. These changes can create strong emotions. Fear when prices drop. Greed when prices rise. The problem is that most investors react to those emotions. They sell in fear and buy in greed. That behavior erodes returns over time. Staying calm is not just an investment skill. It is a mindset. It is a choice that protects your future wealth. When markets rise quickly, people often feel excitement and urgency. They fear missing out. They want to buy more because prices seem to be climbing endlessly. This can lead to chasing performance. Buying at high prices often results in lower returns later. Calm investors avoid the trap of emotional decisions. They stay consistent. They follow their plan rather than chasing the noise. They understand that no market climb lasts forever. Staying calm keeps you grounded during the noise. When markets fall sharply, the reaction is often fear. People worry about losing everything. They panic. They sell to avoid further losses. But selling during a downturn locks in losses instead of allowing the recovery to work in your favor. Calm investors understand that markets are cyclical. They recognize that downturns are part of investing. They do not let fear override their plan. They see downturns as part of the process, not as a signal to abandon their strategy. Calmness protects your wealth more than panic ever could. The key to staying calm is understanding your investing purpose. When you know why you invest, daily changes lose their power to disturb you. You are not investing to win in one day. You are investing to build long-term freedom. This perspective changes your reaction to both gains and losses. Calm investors keep their focus on years ahead rather than days or weeks. They let time and compounding work quietly while others react to every shift. Emotions are the enemy of consistent investing. Fear and greed drive impulsive decisions. They make investors chase markets at the wrong time and abandon them at the wrong time. Staying calm means controlling your emotions. It means resisting the urge to react to headlines, predictions, or sudden changes. Calm investors trust their plan. They understand that markets will always have ups and downs. They know that reacting emotionally usually does more harm than good. Another way to stay calm is to separate investing from everyday noise. Financial news focuses on daily changes and dramatic stories. This creates stress and distraction. Calm investors tune out the noise. They do not check prices constantly. They avoid reacting to every market headline. Instead, they focus on their long-term goals and keep their attention on the bigger picture. Calmness grows when you limit exposure to unnecessary noise. Staying calm also requires discipline. It means having the courage to stick to your strategy when the market challenges you. It means trusting your plan when others panic. This discipline comes from preparation. When you have a clear strategy and understand your goals, you are less likely to react emotionally. Discipline turns noise into silence and fear into focus. It makes investing a consistent, steady process. Market changes are normal. They are not signs of failure. They are part of the investing journey. Calm investors accept this reality. They prepare for both rises and falls. They understand that downturns are opportunities to invest more at lower prices. They know that rises are a reward for patience. Staying calm turns uncertainty into opportunity. It turns fear into steady progress. One of the best ways to stay calm is to keep your investments diversified. Diversification reduces the impact of any single market movement. It allows you to weather declines in one area while benefiting from gains in another. When you own a diversified portfolio, you are less likely to panic during volatility. Diversification is a safety net that supports calm decision-making and steady growth. Patience is also critical to staying calm. Markets will not rise in a straight line. They will not deliver constant growth without dips. Patience allows you to accept that fluctuations are normal. It allows you to focus on the long-term results rather than short-term changes. When you combine patience with calmness, you protect your investments and give them time to grow. Patience turns volatility into an advantage. Another truth is that staying calm requires clarity in your plan. When you have a clear investment strategy, you know how to respond to market changes. You know your risk tolerance. You know your goals. This clarity reduces stress. It prevents rash decisions. It allows you to follow your plan with confidence regardless of market conditions. Calmness grows from certainty about your own strategy. Staying calm also means trusting the process. You must believe in your plan and in the power of time. Markets rise and fall, but over decades they have historically grown. Calm investors know this. They know that downturns pass. They know that consistency and time work together to build wealth. Trust removes the emotional impulse to react to every change. It keeps you steady in the face of uncertainty. Fear during downturns is natural. But calm investors turn fear into a strategy. They recognize that downturns are opportunities to invest more at reduced prices. They see market declines as part of the natural cycle rather than as a threat to their plan. This mindset allows them to stay focused and build wealth steadily. Calmness turns challenge into opportunity. When markets rise, calm investors resist the urge to overreach. They do not chase the highest returns at the moment. They stick to their plan. They remember that long-term success comes from consistency, not from chasing peaks. This restraint protects them from mistakes. Calmness keeps success steady instead of allowing it to turn into reckless decisions. One of the most powerful habits for staying calm is regular investing. When you invest consistently regardless of market conditions, you remove emotional decision-making from the process. You benefit from market changes without trying to predict them. This habit turns volatility into an advantage through dollar-cost averaging. Calm investing grows quietly but powerfully over time. Staying calm also protects your peace of mind. Investing can be stressful if you react to every movement. Calm investors avoid unnecessary worry by focusing on their plan. They see the big picture instead of daily noise. This peace is one of the most valuable rewards of disciplined investing. Calmness is not just about making better financial decisions. It is about living without the burden of constant worry. Another truth is that staying calm builds confidence. When you maintain composure through market changes, you trust your process. You trust your plan. This confidence makes it easier to stay disciplined. It strengthens your ability to stick to your strategy even in difficult times. Calmness creates a cycle of trust and discipline that supports lasting wealth. The final truth is that markets will always change. There will be rises and falls. The difference between successful investors and unsuccessful ones is how they react. Calm investors stay the course. They trust time. They own low-cost investments. They ignore noise. They stick to their plan. That calm discipline transforms market volatility from a threat into a tool. It allows your wealth to grow steadily while others lose direction. Chapter 10. Build wealth slowly through patience and discipline daily. Wealth is not built overnight. It grows quietly over time through small, steady actions. Many people want quick results. They look for shortcuts or instant success. But real wealth is different. It comes from patience and daily discipline. Patience allows you to stay consistent over years. Discipline keeps you on track even when life gets busy or markets change. Together they create a foundation for lasting financial freedom. Understanding this truth changes how you approach your money, your time, and your future. Patience is one of the most valuable skills an investor can have. It allows you to look beyond short-term changes. It gives your investments time to grow. Markets do not rise in a straight line. They have cycles. Patience helps you remain steady during downturns. It prevents impulsive decisions that can destroy progress. Every great investor knows that time magnifies results. Wealth grows slowly when you give it years to work. The earlier you start, the greater your advantage. Discipline is the engine that keeps your wealth growing. Discipline means following your plan even when you do not feel like it. Discipline means contributing regularly to your savings and investments. Discipline means resisting temptation to spend what you should save. Without discipline, patience alone is not enough. Daily discipline turns small actions into lasting results. It makes your financial growth a habit rather than a one-time event. Discipline turns dreams into reality. Small, consistent actions matter more than big bursts of effort. Many people wait for the perfect moment to invest or save. They believe they need a large amount to start. But wealth is built by starting with what you have and staying consistent. Daily discipline means making steady contributions. It means living below your means regularly. It means making wise decisions again and again. Over time, those choices compound into significant wealth. Patience also builds emotional strength. Markets will have ups and downs. Your life will have changes. Without patience, you are more likely to react emotionally. Patience gives you the ability to look past short-term losses and stay focused on long-term growth. It allows you to maintain confidence in your strategy. This emotional steadiness is as important as financial skill. Wealth grows not just from money, but from the mindset you build along the way. Another truth is that discipline requires clarity. You must know what you are building and why. You must set clear goals. Without a goal, discipline becomes difficult to maintain. Clarity gives purpose to daily actions. It transforms discipline into a consistent process. You are no longer saving or investing for vague reasons. You are building toward a clear future. This clarity strengthens your resolve to stay disciplined even when it is hard. Daily discipline also builds self-control. It teaches you to delay gratification. It helps you prioritize what matters most. Many people give in to impulse spending. They borrow for lifestyle rather than focusing on the future. Discipline changes that. It creates the habit of saying no to short-term pleasure for long-term gain. That habit builds financial strength quietly but powerfully. Discipline becomes the foundation of freedom. Patience works with discipline to turn time into an advantage. The longer you invest, the more compounding works in your favor. But without discipline, you will not give your investments the time they need. Without patience, you will abandon your plan before results grow. Patience and discipline together allow your money to grow steadily while you focus on life. This combination is the true secret of wealth building. Wealth built slowly is wealth that lasts. Quick gains are often followed by quick losses. Slow, steady growth creates stability. It protects you from emotional decisions. It gives you time to adapt. When you build wealth patiently, you do not need to chase risky opportunities. You grow your resources in a sustainable way. That kind of wealth is not just about money. It is about security and freedom for life. Daily discipline also builds confidence. When you take consistent action, you see results over time. That success reinforces your habit. It builds trust in your own ability. Confidence strengthens your commitment. It makes discipline easier to maintain. Small wins become proof that your plan works. This confidence fuels continued patience and steady progress. Patience also protects your investments. When markets fall, patience keeps you from selling in fear. When markets rise, patience keeps you from overreacting. It allows you to maintain your course through changes. That steadiness is what separates successful investors from those who give up too soon. Patience turns volatility into a tool rather than a threat. Discipline is not just about money. It is about how you live. It is about the habits you build each day. Discipline affects your health, your relationships, and your career. Financial discipline grows naturally when you practice discipline in other areas of life. It becomes part of your identity. You no longer think of it as effort. You think of it as who you are. That identity is the foundation of lasting wealth. Another part of discipline is creating systems. You make saving and investing automatic. You set up regular contributions to your accounts. You eliminate the temptation to delay action. Systems take the stress out of discipline. They make it part of life. They make building wealth a habit that does not require constant decision-making. Systems turn discipline into a steady rhythm. Patience also allows you to see the value of time. Time is one of your greatest assets. When you invest early and consistently, time multiplies your returns. Patience means understanding that results grow over decades, not weeks. It means avoiding the temptation to seek quick fixes. It means trusting that your efforts today will produce rewards tomorrow. Time becomes your ally when you have patience and discipline. Daily discipline turns small amounts into something big. Every contribution you make matters. Every saving you do adds to your future. This habit builds momentum. It creates a sense of progress. It turns saving and investing into a natural part of life. Daily discipline makes wealth growth inevitable, even if it feels slow at first. That slow growth is what produces lasting results. Patience is tested in difficult times. Discipline is tested when life gets busy. That is why both must be practiced daily. Wealth is not built in moments of comfort. It is built in the everyday choices you make when no one is watching. It is built in the quiet decisions to save, to invest, and to stay the course. Those daily actions add up over time in ways that are often invisible until the results are clear. The truth is that building wealth slowly is a process of growth. It is not dramatic. It is steady. It is consistent. Patience and discipline are the twin pillars of that process. They turn small daily actions into lasting freedom. They transform saving into security and investing into independence. This is why the simple truth remains. Real wealth is built through patience and discipline every single day. Chapter 11. Learn that financial independence gives real-life choices. Financial independence is more than having money. It is the freedom to choose how you live your life. It is the power to make decisions without being forced by financial pressure. Most people work for money because they have no other choice. They exchange their time for income to cover expenses. Financial independence changes that. It gives you control. It lets you decide when, where, and how to spend your time. That choice is priceless. The first step to financial independence is understanding its value. It is not about wealth for show. It is about freedom. It is about peace of mind. Financial independence means you can make choices based on what matters to you, not just what you must do to survive. You choose work that excites you, relationships that inspire you, and time that fulfills you. That is the real reward of building wealth. When you are financially independent, you no longer answer to urgent demands for income. You can focus on long-term goals instead of short-term survival. You can choose work that aligns with your values. You can invest your time in your health, relationships, and passions. Financial independence opens doors to experiences you may never have considered before. It allows life to be guided by purpose rather than pressure. Many people confuse wealth with happiness. They believe earning more is the key to fulfillment. But true freedom comes from independence, not just income. Financial independence gives you the option to live life on your own terms. It allows you to step away from work you do not enjoy. It allows you to spend time with those who matter most. It allows you to live with dignity and peace. That freedom cannot be bought overnight. It must be built with patience and discipline. The path to financial independence starts with control over your money. You must know how much you earn, spend, save, and invest. This awareness gives you control over your future. Without it, your choices are limited. When you manage your money wisely, you create options. You build the foundation for independence. The more control you have over your finances, the greater your freedom to choose your path. Financial independence also changes your relationship with work. It allows you to work for reasons beyond money. You can focus on passion, purpose, and growth instead of financial necessity. That shift transforms your energy and motivation. Work becomes a choice, not a burden. It becomes a way to contribute rather than a means of survival. That freedom changes life in ways that money alone cannot buy. Another truth is that financial independence brings peace. Financial pressure creates stress. It forces constant worry about bills and security. Independence removes that pressure. It allows you to live without fear of losing your job or falling behind. It gives you confidence that you can handle life's changes. That peace of mind is one of the most valuable rewards of building wealth steadily. Achieving financial independence requires planning. It means setting goals for saving and investing. It means living below your means. It means being intentional with your money. It also requires discipline and patience. You must commit to building your future over time. Independence does not happen quickly. It is the result of steady progress. But the freedom it creates is worth every effort. When you reach financial independence, you change the way you measure success. You no longer define it by the size of your paycheck or your possessions. You measure it by the freedom to live according to your values. You measure it by your ability to spend time as you choose. You measure it by the strength to walk away from situations that do not serve your purpose. That is a powerful shift in life perspective. Financial independence also gives you the power to help others. When you are free from financial worry, you can contribute in ways that matter. You can support causes you believe in. You can spend time with people who need you. You can build a legacy of generosity. That choice is part of the freedom financial independence provides. It allows your wealth to create impact beyond yourself. One of the most important aspects of financial independence is security. It is knowing that you can handle life's uncertainties. You have control over your future. You have a safety net that protects you. That security removes fear and gives you confidence. It allows you to make choices without being driven by survival needs. Security is a cornerstone of true independence. Financial independence is not about quitting work altogether. It is about having the choice to work or not. It is about deciding how to spend your time instead of being forced by necessity. It is about living life without financial chains. That choice is the reward of building wealth through patience and discipline. It is the freedom to live intentionally. The journey to financial independence begins with your daily actions: saving, investing, controlling spending, avoiding debt, building a consistent plan. These daily steps add up over time. They create momentum. They build the resources that give you real choice in life. Every disciplined action brings you closer to independence. Every small decision matters. Another truth is that financial independence allows you to live with clarity. When your finances are under control, your mind is free. You are not distracted by stress or worry. You can focus on what matters most to you. You can live intentionally rather than reactively. That clarity transforms every part of life. It changes your priorities, your relationships, and your peace of mind. Financial independence also means having time. Time to learn, time to grow, time to enjoy life. Time is the most valuable resource you have. Financial independence gives you the power to control your time. That is the real wealth behind financial freedom. Money supports your life, but time shapes it. When you have both, you live fully. When people reach financial independence, they often discover a deeper sense of purpose. They find they want to give back. They want to create value beyond themselves. They see that freedom comes with responsibility. Independence allows them to live a life of meaning, not just comfort. That is the deeper reward of building wealth slowly and steadily. The truth is that financial independence changes your life. It gives you the power to choose. It removes pressure. It brings peace. It opens doors to experiences you never imagined. It gives you control over your time and your future. That freedom is worth the discipline, patience, and consistent action it takes to achieve it. The real value of financial independence is choice. It is the ability to decide your own direction. That choice cannot be bought in a day. It is built over years with patience and discipline. Every action you take today is a step toward that freedom. Financial independence is not a distant dream. It is a path you can begin walking now. Chapter 12. Save aggressively to create peace, not pressure. Saving aggressively is not about depriving yourself. It is about creating peace of mind. Many people think saving is painful. They think it means cutting out enjoyment. But saving wisely is a choice that builds security. It removes worry. It gives you control over your future. When you save aggressively, you take power away from uncertainty. You create a foundation where life feels safer and choices feel freer. That is the real purpose of saving. Aggressive saving begins with clarity about your goals. You must know what you are saving for. Whether it is retirement, financial independence, or security, a clear goal creates motivation. Without clarity, saving feels like a burden. With clarity, saving becomes purposeful. Each dollar you set aside is a step toward peace, not pressure. That mindset transforms saving from a chore into an act of self-care and strategy. Saving aggressively means living below your means consistently. It means prioritizing future security over immediate gratification. It means making intentional choices about your spending. This is not about cutting all enjoyment from life. It is about finding balance. It is about choosing what matters most and cutting what does not. That kind of discipline creates not stress but freedom. It creates peace by knowing you are building a future of choice. One of the greatest benefits of saving aggressively is the removal of financial pressure. Debt creates constant stress. Living paycheck to paycheck creates anxiety. Saving changes that. It builds a buffer between you and life's uncertainties. It gives you options. It allows you to handle emergencies without panic. This peace is worth more than any short-term indulgence you give up to save. Aggressive saving transforms your relationship with money. Another truth is that saving aggressively builds confidence. When you know you are securing your future, you feel stronger in the present. You are not constantly worried about bills, emergencies, or unexpected events. You can face life with calm. Confidence grows when you know your savings give you a safety net. That confidence strengthens every other decision you make in life. It makes saving a foundation for freedom rather than a burden. Saving aggressively is not about random amounts set aside. It requires a system. You decide a percentage of your income and commit to it. You make saving automatic rather than optional. This removes the temptation to delay. It makes saving a consistent habit rather than a forced effort. Systems create discipline without struggle. They turn saving into a steady process that builds peace over time. Many people postpone saving because they feel they do not earn enough. But aggressive saving is about starting now, even with small amounts. The habit matters more than the size at first. Time compounds what you save. Even modest amounts saved consistently grow significantly over years. The earlier you start, the greater the advantage. Saving aggressively is a long-term choice that begins with a single step today. Saving aggressively also means resisting lifestyle inflation. When income rises, spending often rises. That creates pressure, not peace. Staying disciplined keeps your savings growing. It turns extra income into more freedom, not more stress. This requires intentional choices. It means defining your priorities clearly. That discipline allows you to save more without feeling deprived. It allows peace to grow along with your wealth. Another truth is that saving aggressively changes your mindset. It shifts you from reacting to spending opportunities to creating your own future. It turns consumption into investment. It makes your daily choices purposeful. This mindset changes not just your finances but your life. Saving aggressively becomes a statement of your values. It becomes a practice of self-control that strengthens your independence. Aggressive saving is also a way to prepare for uncertainty. Life changes. Emergencies happen. Opportunities appear. Savings give you the ability to respond without fear. They give you power in moments of change. That power comes from discipline. That power comes from foresight. That power comes from making saving a priority every day. This preparation is the peace that aggressive saving creates. Saving aggressively is not about restriction. It is about control. When you control your money, you control your life. You choose how to live without being driven by financial emergencies. You decide your pace, your priorities, your freedom. That control comes from consistent action over time. It comes from the habit of saving even when it feels hard. It comes from a decision to value your future more than immediate comfort. Another truth is that saving aggressively builds resilience. It gives you the ability to handle unexpected challenges without panic. It removes the pressure of living paycheck to paycheck. It allows you to face change with calm and clarity. Resilience grows when you have a strong foundation of savings. That foundation comes from disciplined, consistent saving. Aggressive saving is not just a financial strategy. It is a life strategy. The habit of saving aggressively also builds clarity about your values. You decide what is important enough to save for. That choice shapes your life. It gives your actions meaning. It turns saving into a reflection of what you truly care about. This clarity strengthens your commitment to your financial goals. It makes saving a daily practice of intentional living rather than a burden. Saving aggressively also creates peace because it removes fear. Fear of emergencies, fear of loss, fear of the future. When you save intentionally, you build security. You give yourself a sense of control. That control removes pressure. It allows you to live without constant worry about money. Peace is not the absence of challenge. It is the presence of preparation. Aggressive saving creates that peace. One of the hardest things is to start saving aggressively in the first place. But the choice to start is the most important step. It begins with the decision to put your future ahead of short-term desires. It begins with discipline and a clear vision. It begins with knowing that every dollar you save builds peace. That decision grows into a habit. That habit grows into a secure future. The truth is that saving aggressively is a habit that compounds. Just like investments grow over time, so does the value of consistent saving. It builds a cushion that protects you from pressure. It gives you choices you would not otherwise have. It turns financial discipline into peace of mind. Aggressive saving is not about sacrifice alone. It is about creating a life where your choices are not controlled by money. It is about building a future where you live free. Chapter 13. Stop trying to time the market for gain. One of the most dangerous habits in investing is trying to time the market. Many people believe they can predict when prices will rise or fall. They think they can buy low and sell high every time. But the truth is no one can do this consistently. Markets are unpredictable. Trying to time them turns investing into guessing rather than planning. That guessing creates stress. It wastes time. It often costs more than it earns. Understanding this truth is the first step to better investing. When you try to time the market, you focus on short-term changes. You react to daily movements. You get pulled into noise rather than staying focused on your long-term goals. This creates emotional decision-making. You buy when prices are high and sell when prices are low. That is the opposite of good investing. Calm, consistent investing outperforms guesswork. Ignoring the temptation to time the market protects your wealth and your peace of mind. Market timing is based on prediction, and predictions are unreliable. No one can predict every movement accurately. Even experts often get it wrong. That means market timing is more luck than skill. Luck is not a strategy. A successful strategy is consistent action over time. This is why investing with a steady plan is far more powerful than chasing short-term gains. Discipline outperforms speculation. Time rewards patience, not timing. Another problem with timing the market is that it increases emotional stress. You constantly worry about whether you are in the right position. You monitor prices more often. You react to every headline. That constant attention drains energy and confidence. Calm investors avoid this trap. They focus on their long-term plan instead of short-term noise. They accept that markets move up and down and trust their strategy to work over time. One of the strongest reasons to stop timing the market is compounding. Compounding works best when money stays invested. Every time you pull out of the market to time it, you interrupt compounding. That interruption costs you returns. Missing even a few days of strong market performance can make a big difference over decades. The safest approach is to stay invested consistently, ignoring the urge to time every movement. Investing with discipline means ignoring the daily highs and lows. It means keeping your contributions consistent regardless of market conditions. That consistency builds strength. It reduces stress. It allows you to benefit from dollar-cost averaging. This approach turns volatility into advantage rather than risk. Timing the market removes that benefit and replaces it with uncertainty and stress. Another truth is that market timing often leads to missed opportunities. Many investors pull out during downturns and then miss the recovery. Recoveries can be quick and unexpected. If you are out of the market at the wrong time, you miss those gains. Staying invested removes that risk. It allows you to ride the cycles of the market without second-guessing yourself. That steadiness produces stronger returns over time. Market timing also increases transaction costs. Each time you buy or sell, you pay fees and possibly taxes. Those costs eat into return. Low-cost, consistent investing minimizes those costs. It keeps more of your money working for you. This is another reason why timing the market rarely works as a long-term strategy. Consistency beats guesswork every time. The truth is that market timing appeals to human nature. We want to feel in control. We want to avoid losses and capture gains. But control in investing comes from having a solid plan, not from trying to predict the future. Discipline and patience create control. Guessing creates risk. Understanding this difference is essential for building lasting wealth. One of the keys to avoiding market timing is to focus on your long-term goals. When your purpose is clear, short-term changes lose their power to influence your decisions. You are not investing to beat the market today. You are investing to secure your future over years and decades. That perspective keeps you steady through fluctuations. It protects you from impulsive decisions. It allows you to stay calm and confident. Another way to stop timing the market is to automate investing. Automatic contributions remove the temptation to guess. They make investing a habit rather than a decision. This automation removes stress. It removes the need to constantly check the market. It turns investing into a steady process that works quietly in the background of your life. That is the power of simplicity in investing. Many investors fail because they chase the wrong opportunities. They switch strategies based on headlines or predictions. They buy high and sell low. That is the opposite of building wealth. Consistent investing in broad, low-cost funds eliminates that risk. It removes the need for guessing. It keeps you focused on growth over time. That discipline is what creates wealth without unnecessary stress. Stopping market timing also protects your emotional well-being. Investing should not be a constant source of worry. When you stop chasing short-term gains, you free yourself from emotional swings. You replace stress with confidence. You replace uncertainty with a steady plan. Calm investing is about removing guesswork and replacing it with consistency. That is how wealth is built. Another truth is that timing the market creates a false sense of control. It makes investing feel like gambling. You trade your peace of mind for the illusion of beating the market. But consistent investing gives you real control. You control your plan. You control your savings. You control your future. That is a far stronger position than chasing unpredictable gains. The most successful investors understand that time beats timing. They invest steadily. They ignore short-term noise. They focus on their goals. They avoid the trap of thinking they can predict the next rise or fall. That discipline is the foundation of lasting wealth. Time is your greatest advantage. Consistency allows you to make the most of it. The truth is that stopping market timing is one of the simplest yet most powerful moves you can make. It reduces stress. It protects your returns. It keeps your investments working for you instead of against you. It allows compounding to do its work. It turns investing into a calm, steady process rather than a roller coaster of fear and hope. That calm is the heart of building lasting wealth. Chapter 14. Grow your knowledge, but keep your plans simple. Building wealth requires knowledge. Knowledge gives you confidence to make decisions. But knowledge without simplicity can become a trap. Many people study endlessly without acting. They get lost in complexity. They change plans too often. That stops progress. The real power is to grow your knowledge while keeping your strategy simple. Simplicity makes action easier. It keeps you disciplined. It turns knowledge into results rather than confusion. Growing your knowledge begins with a clear intention. You should know what areas to study and why. Not every piece of information is useful. Many investors waste time chasing the latest trend or strategy. They overload themselves with noise. Knowledge should be targeted toward your goals. Focus on what matters most. Learn enough to make wise choices without overcomplicating your approach. Simplicity keeps your decisions effective. A simple plan gives clarity. Complexity breeds doubt. When your investing strategy is clear, you can act without hesitation. You do not question yourself at every turn. You avoid constant changes that disrupt progress. Simplicity makes it easier to stick to a strategy. This consistency is what turns knowledge into lasting wealth. Your plan becomes your guide, and knowledge becomes your tool to refine it. Knowledge also builds confidence. Confidence reduces the temptation to react emotionally. When you understand the principles of investing, you trust your process. You know why you are making each decision. That knowledge keeps you steady during ups and downs. Simplicity allows you to apply your knowledge without overthinking. Together, they create a powerful balance for success. The truth is that simplicity reduces mistakes. The more complex your plan, the more likely you are to make errors. Simplicity keeps you focused on the essentials. It removes unnecessary confusion. It makes your plan easier to follow and adjust when needed. This clarity protects your wealth over time. The best investors do not chase complexity. They keep their plans simple and consistent. Another reason to keep your plan simple is that life changes. Your goals, income, and circumstances evolve. A simple plan can adapt without breaking. Complexity makes change harder. It creates more decisions, more uncertainty, and more stress. Simplicity creates flexibility. It allows you to adjust without losing control. That flexibility is a key advantage in building wealth. Growing knowledge also means understanding human behavior. Most investing mistakes are emotional, not technical. Greed and fear drive poor decisions. Knowledge helps you recognize those emotions. It gives you tools to respond instead of react. That self-awareness is a form of discipline. Simplicity helps you apply that discipline consistently. Together they build a stronger foundation for your financial future. Another truth is that simplicity makes knowledge actionable. You can read endlessly but still fail if you do not apply what you learn. A simple plan turns knowledge into daily action. It keeps your focus on steady progress. It removes the paralysis of overthinking. Knowledge without action is wasted. Simplicity transforms knowledge into results. That is why it matters more than complexity. A simple plan also reduces stress. Complexity creates doubt and second-guessing. It makes every decision feel like a major risk. Simplicity removes those doubts. It makes investing straightforward. That peace of mind is essential for sticking to your plan long-term. Stress erodes discipline. Simplicity preserves it. That preservation is what grows wealth over time. Knowledge grows through experience. Every decision you make teaches you something. Every success and failure adds to your understanding. But knowledge alone is not enough. Without a simple, consistent plan, experience can turn into confusion. Simplicity allows you to apply lessons without losing focus. It keeps your progress steady. It turns learning into growth rather than distraction. Another key point is that simplicity improves discipline. A clear, simple plan is easier to follow every day. Discipline comes from removing complexity that drains your energy. When you know exactly what to do, discipline becomes a habit. That habit becomes the engine of your wealth-building process. Knowledge strengthens the habit and simplicity sustains it. Together they create lasting results. Simplicity also protects you from chasing trends. The investment world is full of fads. Every year brings new ideas that promise quick gains. Chasing those ideas often leads to mistakes. A simple plan keeps you grounded. It focuses on proven principles rather than trends. That focus protects your wealth and your peace of mind. It helps you stay consistent over decades. Another truth is that knowledge without simplicity can create indecision. Too much information can paralyze you. You may delay action because you feel you need to learn more. Simplicity removes that barrier. It gives you a clear path forward. You use knowledge to strengthen your plan, not complicate it. That clarity makes decision-making easier and more effective. Simplicity also helps you focus on what matters most. Wealth is not built by chasing every opportunity. It is built by focusing on a few powerful habits. Saving, investing consistently, avoiding debt, and controlling expenses are the foundation. Knowledge helps refine these habits. Simplicity keeps them consistent. Together they make building wealth less stressful and more achievable. Growing your knowledge while keeping your plan simple is a powerful combination. Knowledge gives you confidence. Simplicity gives you clarity. Knowledge expands your ability to make wise choices. Simplicity ensures those choices are applied consistently. This combination turns investing into a steady process. It turns discipline into freedom. It turns planning into lasting wealth. The truth is that complexity is the enemy of success. Simplicity is the friend of progress. The more you grow your knowledge and the simpler your plan remains, the stronger your results will be. Complexity can distract. Simplicity focuses. That focus is the key to building wealth over time. Knowledge without simplicity is wasted energy. Simplicity without knowledge is a directionless effort. Together they create a path that is powerful and sustainable. Chapter 15. Protect your money by avoiding greed and fear. The greatest threats to building and protecting wealth are greed and fear. Greed pushes people to take unnecessary risks. Fear pushes people to retreat at the wrong time. Both emotions lead to poor decisions. They cloud judgment and disrupt consistent investing. Protecting your money means controlling these powerful emotions. It means making decisions based on a clear plan rather than impulses. That discipline is as important as knowing where and how to invest. Greed is fueled by the desire for more, often without regard for risk. It makes people chase quick gains and overlook fundamentals. Greed creates impatience. It pushes investors towards speculation instead of steady growth. This often leads to losses. Protecting your money means saying no to opportunities that promise high returns but carry high risks. It means sticking to a disciplined approach rather than being swayed by the lure of fast success. Fear is the opposite but equally dangerous. It makes people pull out of the market when prices fall. It makes them sell investments in panic. Fear turns short-term loss into permanent damage. When you let fear guide your decisions, you often miss the rebound and growth that comes later. Protecting your money means learning to accept that markets have ups and downs. It means trusting your long-term plan through volatility instead of reacting to it. One of the most important ways to avoid greed and fear is to have a clear strategy. A clear plan removes emotional decision-making. When your goals are defined and your strategy is set, emotions have less power over your choices. You make decisions based on logic rather than reaction. That clarity is a powerful defense against the dangers of greed and fear. It gives you the strength to stay disciplined even in uncertain times. Another truth is that greed and fear are part of human nature. They will always be present. The key is to recognize them and control their influence. Knowledge and experience build this control. When you understand how greed and fear work, you can resist their pull. You learn to focus on long-term consistency rather than short-term fluctuations. That control is what protects your money over time. Greed often appears disguised as opportunity. It feels like an exciting chance to grow quickly. But those opportunities carry risk. Many investors who follow greed end up with losses they did not anticipate. Protecting your money means being cautious. It means checking opportunities against your plan. It means asking whether a decision aligns with your goals or simply satisfies desire. That discipline preserves your capital and your peace of mind. Fear often appears disguised as caution. It feels like protecting your money from loss. But fear can lead to missing opportunities for growth. It can cause you to sell during downturns or avoid investing altogether. Protecting your money means balancing caution with patience. It means understanding that downturns are part of the market cycle. It means having confidence in your plan to continue investing through difficult times. Another way to protect your money is through diversification. Greed may push you toward concentrating investments in one area. Fear may push you to withdraw completely. Diversification spreads risk. It protects against both emotional extremes. It allows your money to work steadily without being overly exposed to one type of risk. This balance is a core part of protecting wealth. Discipline is essential in controlling greed and fear. Discipline keeps you on track with your plan. It stops you from chasing trends or abandoning strategies in a moment of panic. Discipline builds a steady approach that withstands emotional swings. Protecting your money comes down to making decisions from a place of calm and clarity rather than reaction. Discipline provides that foundation. Another truth is that protecting your money requires self-awareness. You must understand your own tendencies toward greed or fear. You must recognize when emotions are influencing your decisions. This awareness allows you to pause and reflect rather than react impulsively. Self-awareness is a skill built over time. It is strengthened by experience and a clear strategy. That skill is a shield for your wealth. Greed and fear also affect how people approach risk. Greed makes people take too much risk. Fear makes people avoid risk entirely. Both extremes are harmful. Protecting your money means finding the right balance. It means taking calculated risks within your strategy. It means avoiding the temptation to overreach or withdraw entirely. That balance protects your capital and preserves your peace of mind. Another way to protect your money is to maintain a long-term perspective. Greed focuses on short-term gain. Fear focuses on short-term loss. Both ignore the bigger picture. A long-term perspective helps you see through the noise. It reminds you that markets move in cycles. It allows you to focus on steady growth rather than sudden changes. That perspective is a powerful defense against emotional investing. Protection also comes from having a financial safety net. Greed can lead you to over-leverage. Fear can lead you to underinvest. A safety net gives you the freedom to stick to your plan without panic. It allows you to take advantage of opportunities without reckless risk. It creates peace and stability in your financial life. That safety net is a foundation of lasting wealth. Another truth is that controlling greed and fear takes practice. You will not master it overnight. It requires discipline, knowledge, and emotional awareness. It requires sticking to your plan through good times and bad. Protecting your money is an ongoing process. It is not a single decision but a habit you build daily. That habit is the strongest form of protection you can have. The truth is that greed and fear are the two emotions that most often destroy wealth. They lead to impulsive decisions, missed opportunities, and unnecessary losses. Protecting your money means recognizing their power. It means making decisions based on reason and discipline. It means having a clear plan and the courage to follow it. That protection is what allows your wealth to grow steadily and safely. When you avoid the extremes of greed and fear, you create stability. You create a steady course that does not depend on timing the market or chasing trends. You build wealth without unnecessary stress. You create a system that allows your money to grow quietly and consistently. That stability is the real safeguard for your financial future. Chapter 16. Teach your family how wealth really works. Teaching your family how wealth works is one of the most important responsibilities you can have. Wealth is not simply about money. It is about knowledge, habits, and discipline. If your family does not understand these principles, the wealth you build may not last. True wealth is passed on through education, not just inheritance. Teaching your family creates lasting impact. It builds a foundation for financial independence for future generations. The first step in teaching wealth is starting with the basics. Your family should understand what income, saving, investing, and debt mean. They should know why living below your means is important. These concepts build a strong foundation. Without them, wealth can be lost. Education turns money into a tool for freedom instead of a source of worry. Teaching your family these fundamentals gives them the power to make wise financial choices. Another important part is teaching the value of discipline. Wealth does not grow overnight. It is built slowly through consistent action. That discipline comes from habits. Saving regularly, avoiding unnecessary debt, and investing steadily are habits that must be learned. Teaching these habits helps your family develop a mindset that values preparation over instant gratification. That mindset is the foundation of lasting wealth. It is also important to teach your family about time and compounding. Time is one of the greatest allies in building wealth. The earlier they understand this, the more powerful it becomes. Investing steadily over decades creates results that short-term effort cannot match. Teaching this principle helps your family see that wealth is not a race but a patient process. This understanding creates patience, which is a rare but valuable quality. Teaching your family also means sharing the truth about risk and reward. Wealth building involves taking risks, but those risks must be calculated. Your family should understand how to assess opportunities without being reckless. They should learn that avoiding all risk means missing growth, but taking unnecessary risk means potential loss. This balance is critical to financial success. Teaching this helps your family develop confidence in their decisions. Another important truth is teaching them to avoid greed and fear. These emotions destroy wealth. Greed makes people chase unrealistic gains. Fear makes people miss opportunities. Your family should learn how to recognize these emotions. They should learn to make decisions based on strategy rather than impulse. This emotional awareness is a key part of financial education that protects wealth. You should also teach your family the importance of a long-term perspective. Wealth is not built in days or months. It is built over years. Your family should understand the value of patience. They should learn to ignore short-term noise. This perspective gives them the clarity to stick to a plan even when the market moves unexpectedly. Long-term thinking turns discipline into lasting results. Teaching wealth also includes teaching responsibility. Wealth comes with the power to make choices. That power must be handled with care. Your family should learn that financial freedom carries responsibility. They should understand the importance of living within their means. They should understand that wealth is not just for comfort, but for freedom and impact. This sense of responsibility shapes how they handle money. Another truth is that teaching wealth requires leading by example. Actions speak louder than words. Your family will learn more from how you handle money than from what you tell them. Living with discipline, making thoughtful financial decisions, and showing patience are powerful lessons. Teaching wealth is most effective when it is modeled consistently. That example creates lasting influence. It is also important to teach them the value of financial independence. Financial independence is not about luxury. It is about choice. Your family should understand that the goal of building wealth is to have freedom. That freedom means control over time and decisions. Teaching this helps them see wealth as a tool for living fully, not just as a goal in itself. This shifts the mindset from consumption to freedom. Another key aspect is teaching them about saving aggressively. Saving is a habit that must be learned early. Your family should see the importance of setting aside a portion of income regularly. They should understand that saving is not deprivation but preparation. This lesson builds security and confidence. It gives them the power to face life with less stress and more options. Teaching your family about investing is equally important. They should understand the basics of how money grows over time. They should know about risk, diversification, and long-term strategies. They should learn that investing is not about timing the market, but about consistency. That knowledge turns investing into a habit rather than a gamble. Teaching this ensures they build wealth steadily. It is also important to teach them about avoiding debt. Debt is one of the greatest obstacles to wealth. Your family should understand how debt works. They should understand the difference between good and bad debt. They should learn that controlling debt is a form of protecting wealth. That knowledge helps them avoid financial mistakes that can take years to recover from. Another truth is that teaching wealth includes teaching the value of simplicity. Complex strategies can create confusion. A simple approach to saving and investing is more likely to be followed. Your family should understand that building wealth does not require complicated plans. Simplicity creates clarity, discipline, and consistency. That clarity helps them stay focused over decades. Teaching your family also means teaching them to think independently. They should understand the value of making decisions based on their own goals rather than outside pressure. They should learn to trust their own judgment. This independence builds confidence. It helps them avoid mistakes driven by emotions or trends. Teaching independent thinking prepares them for a lifetime of sound financial decisions. Another important point is teaching your family about the balance between living today and preparing for tomorrow. Wealth is not just about the future. It is also about living well in the present. They should understand how to balance enjoyment with saving and investing. This balance creates a healthy relationship with money. It keeps life fulfilling while preparing for the future. Teaching wealth is not a one-time lesson. It is an ongoing conversation. It grows as your family grows. It adapts to their changing needs and circumstances. It requires patience and repetition. But the value of that teaching is immense. It shapes how they live, how they think, and how they handle money for the rest of their lives. The truth is that the greatest gift you can give your family is knowledge. Knowledge about how wealth works. Knowledge about discipline, patience, and responsibility. Knowledge that turns money into freedom. Teaching your family these truths builds a legacy that goes far beyond inheritance. It builds a foundation for generations to live with choice, peace, and security. Chapter 17. Let simplicity be your greatest financial strategy. Simplicity is one of the most powerful tools in building and protecting wealth. Complexity creates confusion. It creates doubt. It leads to mistakes. Simplicity brings clarity. It creates focus. It allows you to act with confidence. When your financial strategy is simple, it is easier to follow, easier to maintain, and easier to adjust when needed. That is why simplicity should be the foundation of your entire financial plan. A simple strategy removes distraction. It focuses on the essentials that produce results. You do not need to chase every opportunity or follow every trend. Instead,